Hi YouTube, this is your LDM. I'm going to be running a game today called the Spire, which is a Numenera one-shot. The player is going to be exploring a gigantic tower in the center of a river, or a lake that is octagonal. And I'll just get my players to introduce themselves and the characters they're playing, and then we'll do like an introduction of where you are and stuff after that. So whoever would like to go first.
I attack. All right, this is Jim, also the Chaosnet. I am playing Gadelvaro, who is a charming nano that rides the lightning. He specializes in Numenera knowledge and is considered kind of a mage of sorts in this futuristic type world. He's not one for physical contact or physical attacks, and he has a blade gun that fires little shivs, but that's his last resort. His main resort will be to use his adept ability to ride and manipulate the lightning and lay his foes low.
Okay, perfect. Who wants to go next? Let's have Matt go next.
Alright guys, hey, how's it going? My name's Matt, and my character today is Jet Navarro, cousin of Jadel. He is a gritty, rustic ranger who is an explorer of the Numenera. He carries a hefty crossbow, a gift from his cousin named Full Metal Bitch. You can see the character and the crossbow in my screen share, hopefully. And and yeah, he's a little bit strange. He walks on the fringe of the earth, tilting a long top hat that has a feather in it, and occasionally goes cuckoo. It is a hat that makes bird noises. That is.
Okay, perfect. Dave, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'm Dave Sims, YouTube channel by the same moniker, and I'm going to be playing Durant. He's a strong-willed nano who fuses flesh and steel, and basically he's had experience already, for good or bad, traveling the world and being exposed to different situations in Numenera, and he is one who is cursed with his body slowly changing to metal. So his goal is to attempt to free himself of this curse one way or the other.
Okay, very nice. And then Jeppe.
Hi, I'm Von Trodden, and also known as Jeppe Pepe, and I am playing Nihilus, Wanderer of the Wastes, mechanically stealthy glaive who crafts solutions. He is a man who was born on the edge of the steadfast, who as a child liked to wonder about the different ruins that were in the area. You know, giant machines, robots laying in the middle of nowhere, that kind of thing. He loved to go out there and get his solemn reprieve every once in a while from his family issues. When he was out there one time, something crashed into the ground, and that thing was this orb that now hovers around him constantly. That orb also absorbed different parts of the Numenera into itself, and so it like flashes a face depending on what direction it's looking. It might shoot out different kinds of illusions, things like that. Something that came out of it, a parasite, a symbiote, is what gives him his connection to it, and it actually sprawls out along his body when he's ready for fighting as a kind of armor. A biological. I'll do a description when it comes to it. But needless to say, he has a symbiote, and he uses his sphere as his main weapon. I've reskinned them all. He uses it similar to martial arts, if you've ever seen waterbending, to move it around his body.
Perfect. Okay. So you guys are in a very small village called Shadow. It's a very imaginative name because it's in the shadow of this gigantic, enormous tower. The lake is about 3 miles across, and it's totally octagonal, so perfectly octagonal, as if it's been just cut into the land itself. And in the middle of it is a tower that just stretches up for miles into the clouds. And you're in this town. It is pretty comfy. The lake, they've taken parts of it and irrigated the land, and they grow a lot of food here. So it's mostly farmers, things like that. And basically, you've come here because Durant, you've heard that within this tower there are things capable of granting great power and possibly curing your affliction. A lot of people go and don't come back, which it seems to be the standard thing in this part of the world. It's like you go to a big thing and then you don't come back from the big thing. But Durant, you're one of the few who has gone to the Old Triangle and come back, so you're not daunted by this. So yeah, you're in this little town. If you want to describe what your characters will be doing, where they would be, what they're doing, hanging out, whatever, that's totally up to you. There is a small dock as well that brings people to the tower. It's very expensive to get there because the lake is filled with nasty creatures, but yeah, that's another part of the town.
All right. I will have just recently disembarked from a ship of sorts that kind of, if you guys can imagine, kind of looks like a junk, you know, except the sails were made of some kind of transparent metal of some sort that seemed to catch the sunlight and use it as some kind of energy source of some type. I'm not really certain how it worked. All I do know is that when the sun hit the sails, it would like twinkle and chime like crystals, you know, of some type, and it would keep me up all night. So it was quite irritating. A marvel, but quite irritating. Once I arrived at the town of Shadow, right?
Yep.
I quickly found a tavern of some sort to see if they had any spirits that might meet my, you know, satisfaction. Which I was kind of disappointed, but I just kind of find myself sitting out front as I usually do in my travels, with a cup in hand, swirling around the amber liquid in the cup, and thinking back about my good friend Kirko, who I lost contact with, who was a master brewer, and how I so miss those brews of his. Am I able to see the tower from here?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's hard to miss.
Okay. I'll just kind of sit there taking a swig of the bitter liquid and kind of just looking at the tower, just wondering what mysteries or dangers could be hidden inside. As far as what Durant looks like, he's a very stern-looking individual. Skin that's very pallid and pale, even though he is exposed to the elements constantly. Either hand up to the forearm is coated in like a metal skin at first glance, and if one was to get close enough, you would actually see that there appear to be like nanites just under the surface of this skin, constantly moving and rebuilding the flesh. This kind of gives him a constant irritation, if not pain, almost as if his extremities were asleep, you know, as if they weren't getting enough circulation of sorts. But over the time, he's gotten used to it. But he does think that this has affected his patience, which he has not much of. So he'll sit there and he'll kind of watch the people walk by doing their daily chores, and once again take another swig from his cup.
Nice.
The dog.
Can
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Could can Jekt and I be in the tavern already?
Yep, sure.
Having traveled here, I rely on Jekt for physical protection, and my character has a very good rapport with people, although it stems more from manipulation than outright like. And in a lot of cases, the people who he has managed to endear them to his cause, after a while it tends to wear off, and they find out that they may have been taken advantage of in some way, and that's when I lean on Jack to make sure that no one is able to physically assail me. And what I do is I try to keep us moving ever towards finding new Numenera, new artifacts, new ciphers, and it's come to my attention that there's something odd in this town of Shadow. So we've come across on a dirigible of some sort flying with the translucent metal as well. So we came in, we're in the tavern now, and I'm talking to him saying that we need to make sure that we're able to find whatever needs to be found before these barbarians find it. And I'll say it loud enough for Durant to be able to ascertain that we as a group, as the two of us, are looking basically for the same thing that he is. He has an interest in the tower, or in the the shadow. What is it? The tower?
The Spire, it's called.
The Spire. The Spire. He has an interest in the Spire, and I'm hoping to convince. I've convinced Jekt to come this far. I'm hoping to convince him to go the rest of the way.
So Jekt will nod and say, yes, civilized people, us, civilized, that's us. And all the while, there will be a conversation going on between his elaborate top hat and the bar bird. There's an owl in the tavern, and they're just squawking away. And this is normal for him. He's a civilized person. This is normal for him. And Jet just is resting his crossbow over his shoulder to describe him. He's got icy blue eyes, dark tan skin, long dreads, but he dresses accordingly. He's a survivalist, but well dressed. Looking around, he's peering for trouble. He's happy to join his cousin on any quest. There's been much plunder that they've found together in the Numenera, and much more to come. The Spire is a challenge he wants to hit from far away.
You see a couple people bristle when you say the word barbarians. You know, like, these people, you're in the beyond, actually beyond the beyond, so way in the sticks, but they still think that, you know, they're people. They don't think they're barbarians. They live out here and they're free. It's kind of the frontier kind of style, you know. They don't have to live under the kingdoms of the steadfast, so they like it out here. A couple people are just like, ugh, tourists, you know.
Yeah, I'll kind of hold my kerchief over my nose, so you know I don't have to. I don't know. Maybe lice may fly about these barbaric sorts. But I'm also looking for someone who looks like they may be able-bodied enough to take the Spire, but stupid enough to not get their fair share of the spoils.
Jet, being with Jadel in his proclamation that everyone else is barbarians seems a bit ironic. He takes to it honestly, but looking at him, he's rough around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
He's got despite his well dress, he's got smudges on his cloak, and he's got spirals under his eyes, and he looks like he's seen better days.
And what about Nihilus?
Red smoke looms over the water. The shadow comes down over his face, looks up. This effigy of transcendence, this beautiful, wondrous thing that esteems all the way up to the clouds, reminding him of his childhood in these ruins. Something he can escape to, something he can climb to the heavens with. As he looms over, reflecting as the water below him on this spire, a face appears in front of him. Oh, it was the Odyssey, the probe that fell from the heavens that he was gazing to. The thing that orbits around him constantly. His only friend, well, other than the other one that lives within him. After looking over the pain in his chest, he puts on his mask. The smoke was dissipating from the orifices in his face. A recent dockman looks over on the side and gets creeped out at the sight. Crap, he says to himself. That could have been alright. I hope Durant has a better arrangement than I do. He sits down patiently, staring at the changing faces on the Odyssey, waiting for the guy he met on that airship to come by and fix his stupid mistake.
Nice. So you guys are able to meet up at the dock. But your plan is to go to the Spire. You know the only way to get there is to get somebody to bring you there. There's a couple of sailors kind of crazy enough to sail across. The water is pretty dangerous. There's a lot of big things down there, and the lake is immediately very deep. It doesn't like slope downwards. It's just like a cliff basically that just goes way down into the depths. And so yeah, at the dock you're able to find a couple of people. They look pretty hard-bitten, the kind who very superstitious. So they won't sail at certain times of the day, or if the moon is in a certain place, or all this kind of thing. But they seem hard-bitten, and they're likely to get you across. So you're able to find a bunch of people who would be willing to. But the price is pretty high. They say they want no less than 3 shins a person to get across.
That's insane.
Well, you don't know what it's like out there. There's things in that water. They'll eat a boat right up.
Very true, but how do you expect to make any shins in this tavern here? If you don't go anywhere, you will make no shin. I offer you no more, no less, 2 shin. And that's my final offer. And with that, you will hold your position at the Spire, and I will give you a 1/20th cut of whatever we find for you to distribute amongst your crew. That's fair, is it not? Since I am very charming.
He kind of thinks about it, and he's like, well, yeah. And he's thinking.
And I understand that math is not your strong suit in the counting of things. So let those in a position to handle such effects handle that effect. 2 shins, right?
Jet pipes up and he says, he is very charming.
The guy you can see him trying to compute, and you get this picture of like a guy turning a wheel in his head or something. He's just like, well, 2, and then...
Is it squeaking?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, 1/20th. I mean, 20 sounds like a lot of things, so he's like, okay.
How many women do you have? How many children do you have to pay for? I'm sure many.
Yeah,
2 shins could go a long way. And a 1/20th share would go equally as far.
All right. Spits in his hand. You got yourself a deal.
No. I'll bow to him and say, in my clan, that is definitely not the way. So I'll kind of affect a bow and sort of egg him into returning my bow.
Like, hey, how do we know we have a deal if we don't shake hands and spit in it?
Jed steps forward, spits on his hand, and goes, the bird.
Thank you, cousin.
You I like. All right. You meet me in an hour by the dock. I'll be ready to go. And he walks out without much more ceremony.
I'll turn back around after seeing the loud bravado who was haggling with the captain, or is he just a? Would he actually? He must have been the captain, right?
Captain,
yeah, haggling with the captain. And I'll think about it for a moment. Shrug my shoulders. The last partnership I had with some bravos didn't end horribly, but it didn't end particularly well either. So I'll stand and toss back the rest of the bitter liquid and duck from underneath the large leather-like umbrella that was covering the table that I was sitting under.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll look and see if I see Nihilus anywhere.
It's up to you, Tippy.
Nihilus is waiting by the docks.
Nihilus is at the docks? Okay, alright, okay. I'll quickly head over inside the open part of the tavern and approach the man who goes by the name Jadil. Oh, Jadil, sorry. So I'll come up to the table and I'll give you, both of you, a bow and say good morning to both of you.
I'll say good eve or good morning.
I couldn't help but overhear that you were bargaining for transport to the Spire.
He is charming.
Okay, I'll look at Jekt to see if Jekt is sort of bristling. If he's, I'll instinctively react to where I move behind Jekt. You know, that's my way. You know,
okay.
Oh, I'm surprised. Let me get behind Jekt.
The meat shield.
That's right. And I'll say, yes, yes, you did hear something of that sort. What business is it of yours, sir?
Just the two of you are attempting this crusade?
Well, according to this scroll that I have, much of it is probably far beyond your ability to comprehend. It says, it states that there's a circle, a square, a triangle, and a rectangle, indicating that there should be 4.
Okay.
Alas, this is beyond your ability to understand, I'm sure. But what is it? What is it that we can do for you?
I'll slightly lean forward, and you guys see
I'll back away.
You guys see that one eye, his left eye, kind of. Were you holding out the scroll as you talked about this?
I'll bring the scroll out, but I won't open it. I'll just sort of wave it about.
Okay. So you see his left eye kind of focuses on the scroll itself, while the other eye, the right eye, stays locked with Jadil's gaze. And I aware I have certain skills that may prove to be useful for you, or to you rather. I have experience in exploring some of these places of power and mystery.
You do? Interesting. Well, how about you join us for a 1/20th share of whatever we find?
It's not. I agree to that, but it's not money that I'm after. It's knowledge and lore.
Oh. And
Have you not heard of the
a-
great? Have you not heard of the Great Pyramid, the inverted pyramid of Titan Town?
I have. I have also heard that no one has ever returned from there.
Okay, I bow again and say, I have indeed.
What proof do you have?
This kind of takes me. I'm taken aback at this, and you see that I have a shoulder bag, of sorts, and there's at my right hip, there's it's obviously like a square pouch there or whatever. And I kind of make note to kind of like steady it and make sure it's okay. And I say, don't listen to him, fellows. He didn't mean that. He doesn't know what we've been through. Okay. And then I turn back to you guys and I shrug and I say, I have no actual proof other than what's in my head. And then both eyes will focus on you.
I'll raise an eyebrow and say, you offer an interesting proposition, sir. However, as I stated, the scroll indicates that there should be 4. And with you, we are 3.
I believe that I have someone who is quite adept that you would find useful as well.
Are they trustworthy?
Of course, and I'm sure this person would agree to your rather tight proposal as well.
Because I'll tell you, if there's any buffoonery to be afoot, Jet will deal with it.
Is Jet? I mean, is he physically imposing, or does he just, is he like a brute?
He's like a skinny but large. He's skinny but large. He's like
okay.
He's a good 6'4", but he's
wiry. Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, so I'll give Jet. I'll give him kind of the eye. And then I'll shrug and say, as you wish.
Okay. And where is this companion of yours?
I nod towards the docks, waiting for my return.
So interesting. The captain will meet us at the docks within an hour. How sure are you that you can convince him to lend his shoulder or his abilities to my cause?
I say he's
to our cause.
His path is worthy. That's all I need to say. He's no mere barbarian, as you put it.
Well, I will need someone of brawny back because I anticipate the treasures that we pull from the Spire will be quite voluminous.
Okay. I shake my head and I say he's worthy. He's worthy.
And you two will share the 1/20th share, correct?
I wave my hand, of course, that's fine. And you kind of hear from his bag a little bit of movement and commotion.
No.
I pat the bag. Shh.
Yeah, you hear the Legion in your head. This one is deceptive.
Right.
Yeah. Jet. Would Jet be able to notice these interactions?
No, it's like a symbiote in his head, so it's telepathic conversation he has.
Okay.
So you guys can head to the dock, and you'll find Nihilus there, and he is fortuitously standing in front of the ship where that the captain you spoke of, that ship. He's standing there, being a bit weird, being a little bit off-putting. And you can see a couple of the sailors are kind of like doing their jobs and moving some ropes around, and then also like going to a data pad and typing some stuff in. So it's a weird anachronistic type of ship. And a couple of them are like doing their work, but also like keeping an eye on them, very very clearly, like looking at this kind of weirdo over on the dock.
Nihilus is just periodically to freak the sailors out. He reaches down in the water and crafts a small illusion, and he pulls out this thing that looks like a head, the water dripping from it, and he pulls it back down again, and he pulls it back up again. Instead of a head, it's a crawdad. He pulls it down. He pulls it back up again. It's this tentacled monstrosity. Gauging their reactions.
They're deeply uncomfortable. Couple of them kind of like were looking, and then they just go straight back to what they were doing and like focus really intently on like typing some stuff into a pad or tying a knot or something. Kind of just like very nervous about this creep on the dock.
As we move closer, I'll point a shiny finger towards Nihilus and say, there's the gentleman.
Your skin on your hand.
I put my hands back together in my robes, kind of like my the sleeves to kind of hide them, and I kind of look. Hands? What hands?
So your companion looks a bit sketchy. What is he at?
Why do you say that?
Just has an odd demeanor to him, an odd look about him, something I can't place my finger on.
And what do you look like?
I'm looking for a good picture for myself, but I'm hooded. I wear kind of a white hood, but it's over like a doctor's coat, almost white. And I mean, his hood isn't deeply cowled, so you can't see his face. It's more on the top of his elongated head. And he wears a circlet that the blue gem kind of crackles with electrical energy.
All right, well, I give you the eyebrow because you look at it as about as unique, I'll say, as all of us. So, how can you judge him? You don't look like one of the commoners, the villagers here.
But look at what he's doing. That is what I mean.
Okay, I look again, and I see a different head come out of the water and disappear, and then another one come up and disappear, and I close my mouth.
So
Is he to be trusted?
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, the captain shouts over the side of the boat, come on, let's go.
Nihilus props his hoodie, or his hood, that's attached to his cape, over his gas mask. You see the red fumes dissipate as the remnant clouds, the spores line the rim of his hoodie, so there's a red tint to the brown cloak. He comes up to you and goes, Durant, did you find travel?
I put my hand on your shoulder and give you a pat on the shoulder, and I say, yes, my friend. I say, these two here have secured passage for us on that fine vessel right there. And I kind of look at it. Is it a piece of crap?
It's not a piece of crap, but it's not anything fancy. It's it's metal, but it's got sails. And it's pretty sleek, but you can see it's rusted in parts, and it's not the fanciest of vessels, but it looks like it's seaworthy.
Okay. Yes. This fine vessel here will be our transport.
At least it's not transparent.
True, my friend. Very true. Very true.
The sphere is orbiting around both of us, since it normally orbits around me constantly in a diagonal fashion. Now it's just doing eights in the air around us.
I never get used to that, but it always makes me nervous. But I have learned that the faster the sphere travels, the more annoyed he is. So it seems to be going at a steady, smooth pace right now, so I think everything's good.
Can I detect what... those are either artifacts or something?
That would be an oddity.
An oddity?
So the ciphers are like little devices usually, or pills or something that you can take. While an oddity is something that doesn't have a clear purpose, but is nonetheless somehow impressive.
So it has an effect. It's basically a narrative.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have any mechanical benefit, but it's kind of just nifty. Yeah. So boarding the ship, or the boat, I should say, it's pretty small. There's maybe 4 sailors on it, including the captain. You just have to stand on the deck. There's nothing fancy below or anything, so you'll have to stand on the deck and and help out a little bit. And they say, or the captain says, "Well, you ready?"
I'll say, I am, good man. Have at it. I'll sit. I'll try to sit somewhere dry and
So
make sure that an oar or a sail rigging does not touch my well-manicured hands.
Him and the other sailors get in a circle, and they ask if you'd like to pray with them before the voyage.
Why would we do that? There are no gods.
Oh, just bad luck. They all spit in the ground. Bad luck. Whatever your beliefs are, don't influence mine. So they get in a circle and they hold hands and they mutter for a bit. And then they all spit in the deck again. And then they set off. The surface of the deck
wait 1 second. How did Nihilus and Durant react when I said that there are no gods?
Nihilus can go first. Go ahead.
Oh, Nihilus is paying no attention. His eyes are, well, the reflection of the spire is on his gas mask, on the plastic ones that are plastic part covering his eyes, so you can't see them. And you can tell that his orbit is more elongated around the bow of the ship. He's also kind of amused to see how far he could send the Orusai out into the water and then come back, kind of like a frisbee. It's like whoosh, kind of thing.
It's a commonly held belief that there are no gods. It's mostly just here in the Beyond that people would come up with these kind of regional religions in the Steadfast and stuff. It's pretty. The main religion in Numenera is the Order of Truth, which is like about science and secularism.
I was kind of looking at the choppy amber-like water, and kind of looking at the path that I guess we're going to take towards the Spire. And I kind of shake my head wondering about what mysteries and what horrors lie beneath those waves. And then when I hear Jadel say that and hear the sailor's reaction, I kind of actually wince because there was a similar situation that happened on the dirigible on the way here, because they're quite religious as well. But they had quite much more of an aggressive reaction to that. So I was actually waiting to see if the sailors might put us off, but I kind of relax when I see they don't.
And Jet will pipe up. Yep, no gods, and we'll take a quick leap and try to climb up the sail and take point, scouting the area. Excited about the journey ahead. Completely ignorant to what's going on, and but easily distracted by a sphere in motion.
Yeah, you can climb, no problem, but I'm going to make you do a check so you can see how it works. So I'm going to set the difficulty at a 6, so you just have to roll a d20 and get over a 6. If you want to apply effort, you can bring it down to a 3.
He's specialized, so is that 2 steps?
In climbing?
Yeah.
Oh, so then you can do it for free. Never mind. So because you reduced it by 2 steps, it goes to a 0, and you're able to climb no problem.
So it was a difficulty 6, but 2 steps brings it to 0?
Yeah, 1 step brings it to 3. It goes down in threes. So 1 step brings it to 3, the next one brings it down to 0.
Cool, thanks.
So you scamper up the sail. There's not a crow's nest or anything, but you're able to hold on pretty easily at the top. And you can see kind of the expansive lake and the spire just ahead of you. And they begin to set off. And the water is very still most of the time. It's not windy, and even when it is wind, there's very little waves in the lake. It's almost like a pond in a garden. And about halfway there, you, Jet, notice off to your right, good bit away, you see a shadow under the water, something huge, something gigantic. And just for a second, it leaps out of the water, just, and you can see it's kind of crocodile in shape, and it leaps out and then just splashes and goes back underneath the surface. It's gigantic. It's maybe 70 feet long, and just for a second, it just goes right back down again. It doesn't come near the boat, but it creates a large wave that rocks the boat for a little bit. So I'll just have you hang on. So since you're specialized in climbing, it'll just be a 3 that you need.
All right.
The rest of you aren't as high up, so you won't be affected as badly.
Do we get splattered with spray from this?
You do, yeah. The wave hits the boat, and just a bit of this. It's not salty water, but it smashes into your face, and you're just a little bit soaked for a second.
I know Jadel would like that. Excellent.
That's right. Do the sailors react as if, oh my God, or are they used to seeing these sights?
No, they're worried. You can see a lot of them making kind of signs and stuff, and a lot of spitting going on. And they're kind of just like redoubling their efforts to get there quicker. You see two of them jump on oars and start to row when you had just been sailing before.
So is a 12 a pass in that case?
That's definitely a pass, yeah.
That I'm rolling?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you hang on no problem. The boat kind of sways a bit, but you're able to hang on.
Jet, like, rocking with the waves is like, ha ha ha, is this your god? As the crocodile thing floating about. As he's doing this, I don't know if this is going to require a roll or something, but he attempts to hold on with his legs while grabbing his crossbow and taking point.
Yeah, that will require a roll. So it's going to be a tougher one. It'd actually be really hard if you weren't specialized, so you'll need a 12.
Okay.
So it would have been an 18.
Let's do that then. Okay.
Okay,
50.
you manage it, yeah. You're able to hold on with just your legs, which is a very impressive feat of strength. You've got your crossbow out, but the creature has retreated back down underneath. And after you said this whole thing about, is that your god? The captain is like, I would not mock the creatures of the deep here. Many sailors have been lost. They continue on. The rest of the trip is relatively uneventful. You see a couple times shadows moving under the boat. Gigantic creatures that just swim under the boat but don't really disturb it. And eventually you get to the spire itself. So the spire is huge. It's maybe a mile in diameter. And outside of it, there's a uniform circle of grass, and it's exactly 10 feet out from the spire, and it just circles around it in a perfect circle. And they stop the boat, and they say, be quick.
Say very well. And make sure that you're here if you hope to receive your 1/20th share.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Now, when I look at Nihilus and Durant, are they armed? Because I know Jecht has his crossbow, and I have a little flechette thrower. Mm-hmm. Do they have any obvious large weapons that they look like they would be able to protect me with?
You just see that Durant has a wide bladed knife at his side that appears to be mainly for self-defense, but you do see that he seems to be quite careful with the bag at his side.
Everything is blurry, and when you focus in on Nihilus, the Orosai, as it passes around, he grabs the silver ball right out of its orbit as he's looking at you, and it's freaking out. You hear bells and whistles going off as flashing lights go around as this thing is making these noises, shaking his hand. What were you looking at?
I will attempt to hold my gaze, but willpower is not one of my strong points, so I'll break off my gaze, easily intimidated.
He comes closer to you, and he lets go, and it starts orbiting around him again. He looks at you. It's perfectly fine. I'm harmless. And you smell horrible rancid smells. You can see some of the red dust get on the creases of his hood. It smells like arsenic and
oh wow.
just bad, like, it smells like sulfur and arsenic and just a pungent volcanic
Eject!
flavor is in your throat.
Eject!
Jet's head like snaps back.
I'll take a few steps backward, away from this this degenerate-looking companion of mine, and I'll retreat behind Eject. And
Go ahead.
okay.
Turn over to Durant. He looks toward his robe as if knowing what's under it. There is never any mercy for the sick in the ninth world.
And as he says that, I'll put my hand to cover my nose and mouth. Sick.
I wave my hand and say he's harmless. No ill can come of you. Do we disembark via like a gangplank or something like that, or is there like does the grassy area kind of just slope out from the water, or?
It's again like a cliff, so like there doesn't seem to be a slope, and they pull the boat up right pretty snug next to it, and you can just jump off onto the.
Okay.
path.
Okay. All right. After I try to calm Jadel's fears, I'll go ahead and just boldly jump off the side of the boat and land in the grassy area.
Mm-hmm.
And when I land, you guys kind of see and hear like a little spark, like static discharge almost at my feet. And then I'll kind of wipe my feet on the grass and then kind of take a few steps forward towards the spire.
Okay, I'll stretch the scroll that I have that has a bunch of like half completed diagrams and sort of take a look about how far are we from the actual spire.
So it's 10 feet from the edge of the grass to the front door of the spire, and the front door is like curved and flushed with the rest of the spire. It's basically a perfect circle that goes around, totally flat and smooth, and then there's 10 foot of grass coming from the base of that outwards.
Are there any gargoyles or statues or any artwork outside of the spire?
It's totally undecorated. It's basically an enormous kind of white cream tower that extends up as far as you can see, with no sign of windows or anything like that. It just seems to be, it looks like solid rock if it wasn't for the door in the front.
And that's the only door.
It's the only door.
Are the doors of stone as well?
The door is kind of, it looks really odd. It's kind of like red wood with all these gold
Filigree or?
Filigree, exactly, yeah. So it's like, it's really fancy looking, kind of gilded, and it just doesn't make sense with the rest of this totally plain stone spire.
I'll move over towards the door, and since I ride the lightning, I'll allow little minor shocks to play off of my hand onto the metallic filigree in the door. Okay. And see if I sense anything on the other side. So basically I want to make a notice roll or a hearing roll or something like that.
Sure, okay. Let's say it'll be a 12. So you need to get over a 12. If you want to expend effort to bring it lower, you can do that. It'll cost you 2 points of your intellect pool.
Okay, I do not want to do that.
Okay.
So I roll a d20.
Yep.
And I don't have anything that can help me with this, so it's just a roll straight away, right?
Yep.
Okay. As the lightning kind of dances between my fingertips, I encounter a bit of feedback, and I will stand rebuked.
Yeah, so it seems like you're not able to sense through the door what's happening. Touching it, it feels heavy, and you think it's probably pretty thick.
I'll walk up to the doors and kind of give Jadel kind of a sideways, a side look, like, what are you doing? And I'll hold my hand up, and from the palm of my metallic-looking hand, you'll see the shapes. You'll see an orb, then a triangle, a pyramid basically, then a rectangle, and then I think you said a square. And I'll say, do you see these symbols anywhere here within the door? Have you figured it out yet? Oh, wise one.
I do not. I would need to consult my scroll.
I say, perhaps I have something even better than your scroll. And I'll open up my side bag, and all of a sudden the mariachi music will begin to play. as the green, or rather the grays with their mariachi outfits, they begin to vigorously play actually they play a sad, somber tune.
The grays, like the aliens?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
It's a tiny little box filled with a tiny mariachi band who are little gray aliens. And when he opens it, they play like crazy.
And I consult them like almost reading, the cards or the bones or the stones that we've seen. And I say, so, my friends, it does not bode well. And I snap the box closed, and then you hear them, no, as they usually do not enjoy being trapped in there. And I turn to Jadel again, and I say, we need to get in there.
The Legion in your brain says, just open it.
I stand slack-jawed.
Okay. I beckon to Nihilus, and I say, my friend, this way, please.
Of course. He pirouettes like a vapor in the air off the ship and settles slowly onto the grassy plain, his orb following around him, and as he rolls into a parkour roll over his shoulders onto his feet, the Orify goes next to him. He turns back over to the one who is hanging from the sails and shouts, "It's finally time for the warriors to do something."
Open this, my friend, please.
He turns back to Jack, and he was trying to get his attention this entire time. "Are you not coming?"
And Jet just peeks over. He's like, me? And he's coming along. Is this? Are you asking me to open it?
No, that is what I will do. Go over and he starts pushing it open.
So just with no resistance whatsoever, it just swings with a big creak inwards. And it's huge, and you were able to push it with very little force, and it just opens in. And then you're in where you see corridor. It seems to go the whole length of the thing, of the spire, so it's really, really long, and the whole way through, ceiling is about 100 foot above you. And the walls are covered in filigree and art and paintings, and all the way up, it's actually kind of like really heavily decorated, like almost too much, as if somebody's trying to show off a lot. There's paintings everywhere of humans and of aliens and of monsters from around the Ninth World, things you've seen, things you've never seen before, lots of landscapes, stuff like that. And then you notice about 100 feet away from where you are now, two doors opposite each other. And looking further, you see another 100 feet away, another two doors. And then, at the very end, a final door. Sorry, no, three on the left side, two on the right side, and at the very end, a door that extends the entire way up to the ceiling. So it's nearly 100 feet of door.
What does your scroll say?
They appear to be incomplete, but it is obvious that our goal lies ahead. And I'll sort of look about and make sure that between where we are and where we are trying to go, that I don't see anything that appears as an obvious trap. Do I see any floor differences, raised, lowered, checkered, cobbled, or anything that I might believe is a trap waiting to happen?
It seems totally. I don't know if you've been to the Vatican, but it looks like the Vatican, right? Everything
Oh,
it's just the richest or the kind of densest gathering of art and of gold that you've ever seen in your whole time in the Ninth World. It's ridiculous. It looks kind of gross almost. It's like too much. It looks like somebody who has no taste just took everything they have that was wealthy and threw it in one room.
Everything's not covered in plastic, is it?
No, unfortunately not. But the floor basically there's this incredibly long rug that stretches the whole way from pretty much just where you are all the way to the door at the end. It's pretty fun. It looks like lots of fancy designs knitted into it and stuff like that. We don't see anything that looks in any way dodgy, just these doors in the place.
well, it's obvious that this finery here is for those of lowbrow, that the true treasures lie within.
Are you not taking your spoils?
These are not the spoils that I'm after, good man.
I'll take a few steps, casual steps forward, looking at the artwork and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll stop at one particular painting that appears to be reminiscent of the grays that I hold so dear and near to my heart, and I'll kind of hold up the box and kind of just crack it slightly open so that they can see. And then I'll say, yes, family is important. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they play a little like a dun when you open it. They do a little cheer and they cry when you close it again.
Okay. All right. I'll ask. I assume that I'm the id, and that the symbiote is the ego.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably the other way around, honestly. But I'll inquire. I'll say, what mysteries lie ahead for us?
The Oracle lives here. There are tests to
Okay.
meet it.
All right. I know better than to inquire too much, because in the past it's given me considerable discomfort for some reason. So I shall leave it at that, and I will turn to the rest of the party, and I'll say, my companions, one of these doors, behind one of these doors lies our obvious destiny. The obvious choice would be this one here to the left, number 1.
Indeed.
Okay, well, if you're able to open the door, no problem. And inside, there's a well-lit room, almost like fluorescent lights. It's about 30 foot square. And there's a door on the other side. And you can see that there's a key. The door on the other side is glass, and you can see on the other side there's a key floating in the air of the other door. Do you all enter the room?
Do you think it is a threat?
Who do you speak to?
Looking looking over at the guy with the scroll, whose
Of
name
course.
I haven't.
Good choice.
Of course. This is obviously a trap. I would hazard to say the entire tower, Spire, is a trap. But to what end, we will not know unless we move into the trap.
I will put on my armor then. He takes something out of his cloak. It is the small chunk of what looks like flesh. Cracks it open like an oyster shell, and tendrils come out. He latches it under, somewhere deep under his cloak, reaching through the part with his neck, and you hear You hear goo sprawl out along his arms. It's purple and curvy and thick, like a bruised placenta, and it crawls all over his chest, up to his neck, and through his arms, peering where his shirt would not cover. Now that we're ready.
You, sir, disgust me.
Sorry. And he bows to try to apologize, but then the red fumes come out of his mask, and it smells that weird, horrible sulfur smell again.
Hey.
So I guess that means that we step in the room. Right? Is that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm not stepping in first, but yes.
I mean, I'll step in first if that's necessary.
Yeah, you go ahead. You notice that in the middle of the room, there's a sort of dip, about 7 foot long, maybe 4 foot wide. No, maybe 3 foot wide. Just
Is
a
it
little
as
dip.
extreme as a trench, or is it just a little indentation?
It's probably about 3 foot deep,
Oh wow. Okay.
and there's nothing in it. It's just a little dip in the middle of the room. And you kind of walk in, and there's nothing happens. And then as the last of you walks in, thunk, the door behind closes, and you hear a. Look around, and you see the ceiling is descending.
Okay. Okay.
Is there another door in the room?
There was another glass door.
And there's a key
with a key.
floating, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ceiling is ascending pretty rapidly.
Okay. All right. So since no one else will volunteer, I will rush over and grab the key.
So there's a glass door in the way.
Oh, it's not in front of the door; it's behind it.
No,
okay.
it's behind the door. Yeah,
All right.
floating in the air.
Is it just a glass panel, or is it a door handle or anything there, or?
It actually looks more like a window than a door, but it goes floor to ceiling.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'll rush up to it and actually practically bang into it, because of my my momentum.
Yeah.
And I'll put my hands up to it, and if there's resistance, then I'll try to smash through it if possible.
Yeah, there's resistance. It doesn't open.
Okay.
So you can try and smash it if you like.
Okay. All right. So that's might. Then actually, you know what? I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would just go ahead and put my hand up to it actually, and just allow a discharge of electricity along the surface of this glass window to try to shatter it. Okay.
Okay.
So it says I can do that using the same stat as the action. Oh, so that's a major effect, though. I'm sorry. I would still have to roll. Okay.
So I think
Correct.
that's for using an onslaught or something like that, probably.
It's just a major effect because of my special
I see.
ability.
Because of your focus. Yeah.
Yeah. So would I go ahead and do a might roll anyway?
Yeah.
And if I roll well enough, the major effect happens.
If you roll a 19 or a 20, you get a major
Ah,
effect.
okay. All right. Okay. So it doesn't matter how low. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll go ahead and roll then to try to see if I can shatter it as originally I said, I guess. After all of that. Uh-oh.
The fate dice.
Wrong die. Sorry. What happened? I know. I apologize. Sorry. There we go. There you go. 19.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay, so the electrical discharge happens anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you put
Okay.
your hand up and
See?
and you are launched back from it.
Oh, wow.
Or launched across
Oh,
the room.
really?
Yeah. You don't take any damage, but you just hit the ground across the room.
Uh-huh.
It looked like the door has repelled you violently when you tried to burst through it.
Okay.
Did it power up in any way? Did it look like it, when his energy hit the barrier, did it look like the barrier powered up in order to repulse him?
It didn't look like anything happened. It just looked like he exerted his force and then was repelled because of that. Ceiling now it was 30 feet up. It's now 20 feet. It's moving
Okay.
pretty swiftly.
Is the one other question? Then I'll let you guys try something. Is the trench or whatever? Is it running? Is it parallel to the door, meaning we would have to go over it to get to this glass window, or does it run through the middle?
It's like
Going
right
towards
in the center of the room.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, it's only about 3 feet deep, 7 feet across. Looks like you could
So
lie
it-
down in it. But
And so if we lie down,
Okay.
we would avoid getting crushed.
mhm.
Okay. I'll lay there on my arse, looking surprised and defeated, and let you guys go.
What's at the end of the trench?
It's just like it looks like they've cut out enough space for a human to lie down in, and that's all that's there. It's just like stone within the stone floor, and it's just like they've cut a little bit out of it.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a cattle trough.
I go up to the glass. Normally, I see the signals of all the satellites from around the Ninth World. The streams of blue and violet and indigo wrapping around me, similar to the Orify as it orbits. I press my hand against the glass, and I try to shape the light that is on the other side. The images, the flashing, the purple, the indigo, all forming together into a solid form. And I'm crafting an illusion of myself taking the key.
Okay. The illusion appears, and it tries to grab the key, but it's insubstantial, and you can see it like put its hand around, and the key just go through the hand. And the ceiling continues to descend 10 feet above you now.
I'll go lay down and say, quickly, we must lay flat as you can.
Is there enough for one person?
It's
Or?
removed for exactly one person and no more.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay, so so Jet is not having any ideas coming to his skull. Is going to take to the glass despite what he just saw, and he's going to pull from his hat. There's a abrupt caca, and out he pulls a magnetic powered drill of some kind. Grabs it, jams it right against the glass, and says, "Break already!"
Magnetic drill, eh? Let me check it out.
Remember, yes, but.
Yep. Where is it? Magnetic attack drill. Okay.
And Lloyd, you said that there was nothing. Chepe asked, there was nothing actually within the trench or whatever, right?
No,
There's
just
no,
literally just a cut in the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how-
So you apply the drill to the glass, is that right?
But aiming at the key.
Okay. So yeah, you fire it up and begins to bore through the glass, but very, very slowly. It looks like the glass is quite thick, and it's making progress, but pretty slowly.
Wait a minute. Can the door be opened? Did we try to open the panel? The glass?
I thought I did.
Yeah,
There was no handle, so I tried to push on it, and it wouldn't budge, and that's why I banged on it.
So you pushed and it pushed back. What happens if you pull?
Go ahead and try, and I'll jump in the trench and watch.
All right, I'll stand up and I'll attempt to pull at it or lift it or
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to budge in any way. He's still drilling, and you're like desperately just like trying to pull it up and push it down and everything, and it's just not budging in any way.
Quickly, man, quickly!
You've gotten about an inch into the glass, and it still hasn't cracked. So you're ceiling now 6 foot above you.
All right.
Those of you who are tall have to duck.
I can't imagine, if I lie in the trench, does anything become visible or apparent to me when I do so?
Nope, you just feel like you're not going to get crushed.
Sheesh.
So I try to run back to the other door that we came in on.
Uh-huh.
Try to push it or pull it open.
Yeah, it's totally stuck. You're like pushing with all your might, and just nothing, not even the slightest budge. It's as unresponsive as the glass door. 5 feet.
Guys
4
better
feet.
get in here.
So who's in the trench?
All right. So what I'm going to do is pull out a very light pyramid that I have. That, when broken, the user teleports to a visible location within 400 feet.
Nice.
Safely with all
Come on.
possessions. So I'll pull the pyramid out, and it'll sort of dissolve. And as it dissolves, I'm looking on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah.
So that I can get the key.
Okay, so with a crack and a flash, you appear on the other side of the glass door, and the key is floating before you.
I'll grab it like a brass ring, snatch it.
Excellent. So, a little bit out of breath after the whole teleporting thing, you go, and you realize there's no air in here.
Oh, that can't be good.
3 feet, 2 feet. Those of you who are now not lying on the ground are about to be crushed. So, assuming you're lying on the ground.
Is it possible for more than one person to fit in the trench if we get in kind of like a fetal position?
You could try it.
Spoon! Everyone spoon!
Pretty much.
Jet.
It's pretty snug. So if you're lying on your back, it's pretty snug. So
Okay.
Jet.
If you're lying on your back, the floor is pretty much snug with where your stomach would be.
Okay, so Jet will barbarously straddle, drill in hand, still going at it. Fucking budge! You should have told me you were just gonna flash over there.
So you're struggling to breathe quite badly, Jadek. You've gone purple in the face, and then 1 foot, and then you feel it start to crush down on you, and then it just goes, boom, and it starts to rise again. And the door opens.
The opposite door, the door we came in.
The door with the key as well.
Oh, okay.
They both open.
All right. Okay.
I'm still at the door and I crawl through.
I'll take a gasp of air.
So just think on the fact that Durant was willing to jump in that hole and let the rest of you get crushed. And the fact that Jadek teleported away to safety when you were all in peril. Just think on that.
Jet casually backflips away and is like, it was nothing. But he's cocked an eye and he goes, pretty convenient of you to jump in that hole so quick.
I figured
not even paying attention to his cousin being a selfish prick.
Of course not. I shrug and say I figured there may have been a clue to our salvation within that.
Not civilized at all.
You must understand, I've been in these situations before, my friend.
So you have this key. It's pretty ornate. It seems to be made of some kind of bluey silver. And once you took it out of it was floating in the air. Once you took it, it's just become a normal key.
I'll look at the hero of the triangle or the pyramid. What do you make of all of this? Or the heroes, I'm sorry.
Right. I shrug and I say it's nothing that is unheard of. These places of power are often nothing more than death traps. And I kind of look, up at the ceiling and around the room, and I say often we are just looked at as playthings of the creators of this technology.
As you're standing there, you hear a booming voice, all of you, in your head. Well, you survived the first room. Very impressive. Which one of you hid in the pit while the others were crushed. Which one of you decided your life was worth more than the others?
I'll fold my arms and look up into the, into the distance or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and respond to the voice. I'll say, my goal, my quest in this life I live is to be cured of this pain and agony I go through. And I've heard that the cure is here. So nothing will stop me from finding it.
Could well be, but your selfishness has been noted.
I kind of look, out of the corner of my eye at the rest of the party, and I kind of yell back, thinking that my answer is probably fallen upon deaf ears. And I say, we're not your playthings. We have wills of our own.
I'll glare at Durant.
Okay, so you can get back into the corridor, and there are 3 other noticeable doors. Apart from the one at the very end of the corridor, which is enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Have we tried to open the other one? Does it have the ease of the first door?
I can walk across the floor, or the room rather, towards it, and see if it'll open.
Mm-hmm. It opens just as easily as the first one.
Now, and I might have missed it, but are we in the? We're still in the traveling through the ceiling, like the trench room.
No, you're now back in the corridor.
So was that it was nothing but a dead end beyond
Exactly.
the glass window? Okay, all right, I understand. Okay, so I will. Okay, that's fine. So which room is this then that we're trying now? Is it the one still on the same side next?
Well, there's one on the same side, and there's or 2 on the other side.
2 on the other side. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 3 on the left and 2 on the right.
Let me check.
Okay.
No, there's 4 and 1 at the end, so there's 5 rooms total. So 2 on each side and 1 at the
Oh,
end.
2 on each side.
Oh,
Okay,
interesting.
cool. Okay. All right. I'll go to the next door on our left. Right next to the trench room.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm trying, just to keep it clear. Okay.
So you enter into the room, and it's again fluorescent lights. Looks a bit like a lab, and sitting in 4 chairs are 4 children, and in front of them are puddles of bloody vomit, and they look emaciated, really sickly, and you can see that they're shaking, freezing cold. And as you walk in, one of them vomits on the ground. And in front of each of them, they're chained to these chairs, and in front of each of them, there's a small pedestal with a single pill on it.
Okay. Well, this would have been a good time to fold my arms, and my intent was to turn to actually Jet. And since he seems to be
Well, actually, you know what? We could take a quick break and go to the bathroom and stuff while these people are getting ready.
Okay.
This seems like a good time because we need everybody here. So.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right, we'll just take a 2-minute break.
All right.
Where do we want to go?
Well, after you said be right back, and then I said be right back, and then Jarl was like, okay, bathroom break. There's 2 people gone. I had to PC switch because my girlfriend just got out of the shower. So.
Oh, okay. I just had to toss my daughter in the bed, so not a problem.
Yeah.
This setting is so weird.
I like it.
It's odd. I don't know what to make of it yet.
Well, that was actually pretty frightening to start off with.
What's that?
The trapped room.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were all going
That's
to
what
die.
I thought too. Yeah, right. I was like, wow, party wipe already, huh? Interesting.
TPK!
Right. But I see what he's up to now. I see what this intellect is doing with us.
Probing us and testing us.
That's right, studying us like rats in a maze. I don't like it.
Not one bit.
Right.
Okay, is everybody back?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Matt's still looking at it.
Come
Okay,
on.
cool. So, yeah, you open the door to the next room, and as I was saying, there's 5 or 4 chairs and 4 children sitting in those chairs, and they're thin, they are clearly ill, and in front of each of them there's a puddle of vomit. And as you walked in, one of them threw up in front of him. There's a really strong stench in the air of sick, and there's kind of this almost fog in the air of just like foul-smelling stuff as you walk in. And in front of each of the children, there's a pedestal, and on the pedestal there's a single pill. And walking in, you hear the voice again. You have been infected. The pill will cure you, or cure the child. The choice is yours.
Well, I fold my arms again because I know that nothing will kill me except for this curse that I have. So I look at the others in defiance.
So, well, it's obvious that the child should survive over us. They have much more promise. They have the ability to become anything, whereas we are set in our ways.
Again.
They have untold, untapped potential.
One pill.
But 4 of us and 4 of them.
So some of them will die regardless.
No, there's a pill basically split between. There's 4 pills.
Oh, the 2 of us? Okay. Each,
4
okay.
people, 4 children.
Gotcha. Okay.
So basically, each one of you makes the choice between giving it to a child or taking it yourself. Is effectively the situation. And you hear the voice again. On the first day, you will feel weak. The second, you will vomit. You will purge your body. The third, you will die.
I take the pill. I grab a small knife made of organic stone and try to chop the pill into 4 parts. And I try to insert it into the mouth of the coughing children and have them swallow it in their own viscous liquid so that they have something to dissolve it in. And I rub their throat like a man deworming a livestock in order to get them to do it. And the orb is orbiting around me and the child as I do this, and each one in the orbit changes and pirouettes around to the next child when I go over and try to...
Okay, yeah, the children swallow. And they're just crying. One of them says, "Thank you."
So I divided it in 4 parts and gave each of the 4th part to each of the children.
Yeah. What about the rest of you?
I'll follow suit.
Seeing that the children are quite gaunt, as you described them, Jet will kneel down on one knee, his bravado evaporated, and he'll pull out his food rations, dividing a day's ration between the 4 of them, seeing if they'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, they're starving, so their hands are bound, though, so they can't.
Okay, so he'll also try to feed them, bring them back. Knowing that some good herbs and nutrients is a quick way to health. Whatever this drug is, it might not be enough.
I'll note that if the one pill is divided into 4, that it will be just enough for my mariachi band. So I will split the pill up and feed it to them.
Okay, yeah, you open the box in the mariachi band greedily, just like it's like pretty huge compared to them, so they're like chewing on it like it's an enormous burrito.
Okay.
So what about your pill, Matt? Are you going to take it, or are you going to give it to the children?
I was going to mulch it into the food that I gave them.
Okay,
more
sure.
palatable.
Yeah, that works. So basically you've all given, well, apart from Durant, given the pills to the children. And upon doing so, one of the pedestals, there's like a little box appears with a key inside.
Charity is its own reward.
The voice again. Note that one of you was selfish once again. Note that he put the life of his playthings ahead of those of human children.
I see a pattern forming.
I say, how do you value one life of an innocent above another? I selflessly gave the medicine to these helpless beings. Sorry, I'm sorry.
How do you value a life?
They have given me many nights and days of pleasure.
Hey now. keep it PG.
Well, what kind of grade?
And my companion, and I wave a hand towards Nihilus, gave each of the children a portion. All right.
So each child has taken 1/3 of a pill. Let us hope that is enough. Or sorry, 3/4 of a pill.
Mm-hmm.
Enough is enough.
Grabs the key. What color and texture is it?
Just like the other one, it's quite an ornate looking key, as if it was for like, if you can imagine like an old medieval door. So it's like really ornate, and it's got it's kind of bluish silver. It's metal.
He clunk on his mask as he presses it against the fogginess of it, because he's been heated this entire time because he was trying to keep these children alive, so his mask is fogged up with his sweat and breath. And as he's looking at it, the fumes go around his mask and stain the silver and blue of the key.
Nice. 2 rooms remain, intrepid travelers.
I'll look at Durant, and you are not faring very well here, friend. It appears as though the streak of selfishness that you have is a mile wide. In order for us to survive and get out, you may need to at least give the appearance of self-sacrifice.
You see that he had or has one hand outstretched, palm upwards, and actually his left hand is forming almost a claw, palm up, and you see within the palm there is a orb of kind of liquid metal, and you see that he kind of peers into this orb, and as he peers in it, you see that there's the shadow of like images that are moving within the orb. You see that there's a scene being replayed there, and you see a figure that looks remarkably like Durant himself, writhing and squirming atop an altar of some sort. And you see that there is a portal of some type that is gaping and open, almost like a greedy gulping mouth, that's right behind him. And over Durant's body, you see that there is some type of a priest, perhaps, or some type of maybe oracle, self-proclaimed oracle, or someone of power. And you see that a arm raises over this person's head, and contained in the hand is a wicked-looking blade of some sort. And the blade arcs down towards Durant's chest, and then the orb kind of like bursts like a bubble. And as you say that to Durant, he turns to you, or I turn to you rather, and his voice is almost cracking. And he says, "You know nothing of sacrifice until you have lived what I have lived." Can I get a fate point?
You can get an XP.
I'll nod at that, not knowing quite how to react, and I'll turn to the others and say, "It is obvious that the intelligence is testing us, and I am not one to fail a test. I cannot speak for the rest of you, but my cousin and I will get through this."
The legion in your head, Durant, says, "Do not listen to them. They are weak and you are strong."
Okay.
You may think that you are strong and I am weak.
So just
That
so
may
you
well
guys
be
know,
the case.
last time Durant got an implant, a sort of symbiotic intelligence, and it shares his brain space, and it makes him incredibly intelligent, but it also wants him to become the best that he can be, so it pushes him in directions that are not always the best, I guess. I guess it's all relative, but they want him to succeed.
So, all right, I say perhaps you're right. I will try to form my thoughts and my actions more into the same alignment as you three. You have my apologies. weak one.
So, do you want to continue to the next room, or what's the plan? You've got another key.
We know that there will be a test in the next room. The question is, are we ready for that test? I'll look at Nihilus. What do you think?
Nihilus rubs the the sheening furrows of his embryonic armor. He whispers and pats it along his chest, and he takes the Orisa as it makes its squeaking and whistling noises during its orbit. He pats it. I have my friends. Releases it into its airs, to the air. Do you have yours? Do you honestly think your bond could last the next test? Glances over at Jacked. How greatly do you trust your family?
Well, at the end of the day, Cousin's never done me wrong. He looks over to Cousin. Except he never brings me with him when he flashes away. What was that about? I almost got crushed because of you. And he's grabbing his crossbow. He's pretty confused. But he's starting to question his cousin's loyalty. What makes you any better than the trench jumper? Just because you fed some kids?
No.
Cousin.
It is not me to whom you must bear open your soul. It's to this intelligence that holds us in this foul game of his. And should I find that there is a corporeal representation here in this spire that is putting us through this this most dangerous game, then I will definitely slice their mind and rip their mind asunder. But we must be altruistic, it seems, that the intelligence is driven by a sense of altruism and figuring out what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. Have you not seen the patterns? And I'll speak to everyone as I say this. The patterns, the first was self-sacrifice. I guess the second could be considered self-sacrifice as well. So it stands to reason that if there are 2 additional rooms, there would be something forcing us to show our ability to self-sacrifice.
Aye.
Yells up, what of the kids? Straight up at the ceiling.
I do not know. But whatever it is, we cannot go backwards. So we must go forward.
He tries to take his organic stone knife and tries to cut the kids open. Not the kids themselves.
Like not
Jesus, this took a turn. Okay.
dark.
Try to release them from their bonds, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to. They were just tied with rope, seemingly, and they kind of staggered to their feet. They're already looking a bit healthier than they were. They've definitely stopped vomiting, so that's a good sign.
But there's nowhere for them to go, right?
There's nowhere for them to go.
They would have to come with us.
Whoa.
I mean, they could go outside, but...
Well, how can they get outside? The other door behind us is locked, right?
Yeah, I mean the corridor. They could go stand in the corridor. It's pretty much as far as they can get.
They're as much prisoners as we are. This oracle or this great intellect does not seem to be quite as benevolent as it proclaims to be, or as merciful.
At the heart of it, most likely, it's just a man, no more, no less.
Or a machine.
Where are you from? Glaring at the children, the fumigating his words onto their faces.
One of the kids looks up. Neverine.
Navarine. How far is that from Shadow?
I don't know.
Were you by a lake?
No. I'm from a city in Neverine, in the Steadfast.
Oh. He flashes back in his mind and he remembers being made fun of by other kids in the Steadfast for his condition, always having smoke coming out of his eyes and his ears and his nose and his mouth, always being led astray by the other kids. He looks at this kid from the Steadfast and sees himself, only normal. The thought embitters him, yet at the same time he envies this kid. He wants him to be as free. He looks at this tower, this remnant, this ruin, something like the building that he would escape to when he was a child. Wait in the corridor.
Yes, we will.
All of you.
Okay, I'll go too.
So, like, waiting for kind of a sign to go, they do, and they go stand by the front door, huddled together.
In the lab, are there any clothes?
It's just the chairs, the pedestals, and then just, like, white tiles all around and fluorescent lights on top. It's empty other than that.
All right, have a heart, comrades. Let's be off. The children are now safe from immediate harm. So let us see what this intelligence has for us in the remaining 2 rooms.
I chose. Now one of you must choose.
I have a key, so I have what I need, apparently.
Very astute of you, as usual, my friend.
So on the other side of the corridor, there's 2 doors. They look identical from the outside.
Okay.
So wait, I have a key as well, right?
Yeah, you've got 2 so far.
We've got 2 so far. Okay.
So Jet will look towards his cousin and say, "Can you spare a key for a cousin?"
You
Hold
haven't
the
needed
key
a
out.
key to get into these rooms so far.
I'll hold the key out, kind of half-heartedly, and offer it towards Jack.
Jet will take it.
Ah,
Thank you, cousin.
have you learned nothing?
He won't know what you're talking about.
You hear
But,
the voice in your head. Yes,
the Spire.
you are alone.
He looks towards the left door and he says, "This one. This one seems right."
Okay,
And he pushes it open.
you walk in to this room, and there's a pit, and there's 20 people in the pit. Just humans, look like everyday people. And they're bound and gagged, tied to the walls of the pit. And you hear a voice. There is a door on the other side of the pit. There is a key. One of the villagers has the key in their throat. In 1 minute, this room will fill with a poisonous gas. Good luck.
Okay. And how many villagers are there?
20.
Did the did the door close behind him? Because we were outside in the corridor when he put it open.
I made the assumption that you all entered. The door didn't close. The door didn't close behind you.
Okay.
Did not?
No.
I have an idea. I will address the villagers and say, my name is Jadel Varro. Say my name so that we all may live. And I'll look for, and hopefully they'll respond.
But
Obviously,
they're
whoever-
gagged.
Oh, they're gagged.
They're bound and gagged. Yeah, they're tied to the wall and they're gagged.
Can I try?
I'll move. Sure.
Okay. I will. I want to use my scan action, Lloyd, and see if that'll work.
Okay.
It'll cost me 2 intelligence points, and I can scan an area equal in size to a 10-foot cube, including all objects or creatures within that area. Scanning a creature or object always reveals its level, blah, blah, blah. You also learn whatever facts the GM feels are pertinent about the matter and energy in that area. Many materials and energy fields prevent or resist scanning, so I may not be able to do it, but I want to see if I can actually see the metallic or, key within a throat.
So scanning the room, you're able to scan the people, and they're just people. They're, in terms of level, they're 0. They're barely even worth mentioning. And you notice that the door on the other side, behind the door, is the key you're looking for. The key that is like the other keys so far, but you don't see a key in any of the people. You're unable to find one there.
That's interesting. Okay. While Jadale was moving, I guess, towards the pit to do something, I'll kind of take a step back, kind of confused, as to what the oracle or whatever it is, why he would lie to us about this. And I yell out to the rest of the party here that the key is behind the door. I don't detect it on any of the poor villagers.
Can we just open the door?
You have to get to the other side of the pit to do it, right?
Yep.
Basically jump into the pit and wade through the villagers, more or less? Can Nihilus get through them or over them?
So
Seems
you enter,
to be pretty agile.
The villagers all start like shouting for help, but they're gagged, so they can't. But as you enter, they're clearly looking for help or release.
While we're trying to figure it out, I can at least, how deep is the pit? Just about like 5 or 6 feet or something?
Yeah.
Just a hop down? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just snatch a gag off of one villager just within arm's reach.
Okay. Yeah, it starts to, he starts to talk, and he's got his mouth open, and you see he has no tongue.
Oh, wow. I'll say, see how merciful this oracle is?
He seems to be a madman.
At that, I'll try to push my way through the crowds of villagers towards the other side of the pit to get to the door.
Yeah, they can't really do anything to stop you. They're tied to the sides of the pit. You're able to get to the other door, but it won't budge. And
Okay.
there's a very visible lock. So you make the assumption that there is a key for this door to get the other key.
Ah, okay.
So we have 2 keys. I'll say quickly, we must try the keys. Well, no, that won't work.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Jet
Hurry
will
to
respond to this, and we'll try to scale and use his key
In the lock.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So getting to the lock on the door behind which is the key you need, you see that the key in your hand is far too big to fit into the lock there.
No good, cousin. He looks back. Any of the other keys smaller than this one?
Not the one I have.
Yeah, the keys you guys have are
Nihilus
almost
has the other key.
I'll start ripping off gags.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every one of them, no tongue.
Okay, so what I'd like to do.
Dun dun dun.
I still have a slob of some of the liquids that the children threw up on me along my cloak. I'd like to rip it off.
Mhm.
What I'd like to do is give a swift elbow to each one of the prisoners,
Mhm.
and then put the cloak over their mouth so that they have to inhale these bodily fluids, which will probably force them to throw up.
Very good. So, yeah, the first one. Throws up all over the floor and it's just a splat.
It's gonna get bad quick.
Okay.
Do I need to do a roll for how fast I do it?
Yeah, let's do like just a speed roll, I guess.
Induced projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
I will spend effort for that.
So with effort, it'll be 12.
Oh, goodness.
I know,
Can I not do it on Dice Stream? Because of last time. I'll
That
do
was
it
a
on
fluke.
Dice Stream.
That was a fluke.
Yeah.
It does it again. 5.
Maybe it wasn't.
You're getting through it, but it's taking it's not taking a long time, but it's not super quick. And after about a minute in here, the door, and you hear a hiss, just. You don't smell anything, but you're getting the assumption that this is the gas that was mentioned.
Are any of their voices different?
It's hard to tell. They're all kind of shouting at the same time. They're either with their gags in or without gags. They all kind of make the same noise because they have no tongue. And they're all kind of just shouting and screaming. About 12 people in. And that one coughs up, and there's a cling, and the key hits the ground.
I wipe the smear of chunky gray off the key, and I hurl it with the participant falling off the ends of it toward Durant, who's at the door.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will attempt to snag it out of the air and put it in the door lock.
Yep, you can.
Okay.
Opens, and there's the key. You're able to snatch it pretty easily.
Okay, and who's by the front door?
I'm by the door with you.
Okay, is Jack over there, or
Yeah, I'm by the door you just opened. Yeah.
everybody's by me? Is not Nihilus over there? You're probably
I'm in the pit.
so you're
Yeah.
closest then. Okay, I'll toss the key to Nihilus since he's the closest, and like I said, I think he's pretty agile. So hopefully he can. And then I doubt if this poisonous vapor can penetrate his his natural aura. So I'll toss it to him and say, "Open the door."
I see a trail of silver go through my red, and I try to glance the key. Do I need to make a roll or anything like that?
No,
for that?
you don't need to.
Okay.
You're capable enough. You're able to catch it, spring up out of the pit, and as you approach the door with the key, you don't even have to put it into the door. It opens up, and the hissing stops. It says, I am impressed. You did not murder for your own gain.
Close.
Quick, throw them out of the pit. I gesture to the only other warrior I know.
Okay. So Jet is scrambling to all the people, trying to get them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to untie their bonds or cut them. That's no problem, though. You're able to do that, and they're so grateful. And they run up out of the pit and into the corridor, and they kind of huddle then at the entrance with the children.
Crazy,
Right.
Yeah, that's wow.
It's a different corridor than the children, right?
No, it's all one big
It's the
corridor.
main.
Oh, it's one big. Okay.
Yeah, all the
Gotcha.
rooms come off one large corridor
Okay.
with all the guilt and the art and stuff like that in it. And you hear, "One room remains. Come and meet me."
Okay. So I think Is Jadale the only one who hasn't opened the door yet? Your future awaits.
I have no need of going first. Nihilus is backing down.
So are you going to open the door?
Does Jadale want to open it or no? Is he here?
Jet.
Did we lose him?
Jet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's here. Jet is shouldering his crossbow and he's like, I trust you, cousin. That whole teleporting bit behind us.
So, opening this door, you see a pretty big room. It's about 60 foot square. The ceilings are very high. And on the far side, there's like a pile of gold and gems. And you can see a couple ciphers and stuff in there too. And on top of this is sitting a creature. Kind of looks like a cat. It's got like the sleek, strong body of something akin to a lion or a tiger. But it's kind of grayish. It's got some spikes coming out of its back and under its chest. But in the place where a face should be, there's a swirling vortex. And around it are orbiting bits of jagged metal. So there is no face to be seen. And this thing says, well, you made it. You found me. It amuses me to watch mortals like you struggle with their morality. It pleases me to watch you squirm and debate what the right path is.
I step forward and say, now that we have found you, great oracle, what is our reward to be?
I am not the oracle. I am the guardian. I was brought here against my will. I lived a life of evil. Thousands have died by my hand. I terrorized cities. I devoured men, women, and children. I fed on fear and terror, and I lived by cruelty. Yet I am the last of my kind, and I do no harm now. I am protected here, brought here by the oracle, to root out who is worthy to speak to it.
Or you to say who is worthy and who is not worthy? Who are you? It seems to me that you are still about your evil ways. Nothing has changed from what you claim to have been in the past. You still toy with people.
A point of view. Relative morality, my friend. The oracle desires only those who are selfless speak to it. Only those who are good of heart. And these tests that I have devised will root out that.
There is no such thing as good or evil.
Perhaps you are right. I am the last stumbling block on your way to the oracle. I ask you now, are you innocent? Have you never committed an evil act? Have you always been forthright and kind and selfless? Are you so different from me?
I smile and see what Jadale's response is.
Say, let us pass. We've had enough of suffering at your hands. Not only us, but those that you have co-opted into the tests against their will, I'm sure.
And you see a key, like the others that you have, float up in front of its non-face. It says, would you not take your vengeance on me? Have I not earned it?
You wish to be free. You're as much of a prisoner here as we have been. And we will not give you that satisfaction. You are here to pay for your crimes, and you will remain here.
Why shouldn't we? Bring vengeance and death upon the one who has cut the tongues out of innocents and poisoned children with disease?
He is being judged, obviously, and is a prisoner here for a reason. And I believe that he should remain so. It is not for us to challenge the justice that has been put to him.
I wave my hand about the chamber, and I say, he sits in a gilded cage, and point at all the treasures that he lounges upon.
Are you not angry of the things that I have done? Do you not hate me?
Angry, yes.
Then take your vengeance.
The flesh is pulsating a little bit faster around his arms. The red and purple exchanging places, like one of those squishy toys where you squeeze it in and the little things move around. The semi-translucent layer glistens a bit harder. The orbit goes around a bit faster. He grabs the Orosai and it starts making its noises. And he points the face toward the oracle, and it is a neutral expression. He points it in another direction, and it's a smiley face. The blue lights, the holographic images going around the Orosai. He points it again at the oracle. It's neutral. Points it away, smiley face. Points it in another direction, and it's sad. And he looks to the Orosai. He looks at the Orosai, and he's petting it. And the noises are going down. He looks straight at this thing with a void for a face, with metal orbiting around it, just as the Orosai orbits around him. Goes, "We are not pure, but he is. I am not pure, but he is." Rubbing his chest. "They live on me. They did not. Even though they may be the cause of my disease, they did not judge me for it." Red fumes out of it. "They stuck by me through my travels. They are my reprieve. They have taught me to not hate that which has caused pain. What you orbit around and what you let orbit around you is your own choice." He lets go and it revolves around him. "And you will have to live with it, just as I do. I will not take vengeance. There is no need."
I pity you more than anything else.
But I have done such terrible things.
And you must relive those things in your mind for as long as you're bound here. You have great treasures, true. You have fineries, this is true as well. But you cannot leave. As Durant said, you are in a gilded cage.
These things that I have done bring me no pain. I think on them and I smile. And I will do it again. When you leave, I will get more and I will cause more pain. This is what you leave in your wake if you let me live.
Then we will ensure that no other playthings come to this isle and to this spire for you to toy with.
You are resolved then not to take vengeance.
Yes. At least I and those who are more pure than I. Gesturing his brandished flesh armor and his little spinning metal ball, flashing lights.
All of you are resolved not to take vengeance.
I clench my fists, and look at the others kind of in disbelief, but realizing that there is ultimately truth in what they speak of, and even Nihilus's his representations remind me of the precious cargo that I hold in the bag with me. So I will swallow, and then I'll turn to Jack to see what he's resolved to do.
The hat squaws, and he tips it down, and Jet looks at the beast and says, I cannot blame a beast for being a beast. It is my nature to hunt you, as we have been hunted today. But I trust my cousin. This is a game, and we will win. You will not die today, creature.
Nice, very nice.
Nice. So the creature, the color of its vortex changes from green to red, and it's clearly not happy. You must take vengeance.
Say, no, you must remain entrapped here.
Ah,
Oddly, it appears that you cannot attack us. You cannot be the aggressor. You have to work through your agents and your tests, and the testing has passed. So we will take our leave of you, and I am highly doubtful that you have the will to do anything about it. And I'll move towards the key. I'll reach my hand out towards the key and check his reaction.
Oh man, bold move, my friend.
yeah, you go and you're able to snatch it out of the air, and he does nothing. He just growls, furious about it. Go then. Open the door and speak to the Oracle. Gladly. See what comes of that, mortals.
Such is the will of a charming nano that rides the lightning.
Okay, nice. So you're able to leave this thing behind. And then before you is the final door. Enormous. And there are 4 keyholes right next to each other.
Alrighty.
Opening them, putting the keys in, turning them ever so slightly to the right. There's a bunch of like hydraulics just start bursting and stuff, and the door slides open. And in this room, there seems to be some sort of jungle, covered in lush greenery. A stream flows through the room. It's enormous. You can't even see the top of it. You think it goes all the way to the top of this this spire, and before you, in this jungle, inside of a tree, is an enormous machine. Almost like there's like a sphere at the center with an eye-shaped sphere, and coming from it are all these huge wires and connections that connect to various bits around it. And the eye kind of like whizzes around and looks and eventually focuses on you. Well, you made it. I am glad. It was a little touch and go there for a while.
Who are you?
Disgusting, he says, looking at the jungle. There's no ruins.
I am the Oracle. I can tell you many things. I can control matter. I can do many things. And you have earned a question, a request. For you have proven to be mostly selfless, mostly kind, not proud, and you resisted the urge to kill that hateful creature. You have done well. I can provide many things. I know that. Some of you want material gain. Others seek knowledge or power, or even a cure. All of this is within my power. And the voice that it speaks with, it's like a bunch of voices all at once. I wish I could do that voice, but it's a little difficult. But it's all these different, different tones of voice all speaking as one.
What? I'm afraid to ask anything, for if you would count it, answer the request. I would like to inquire about the request before making it.
Very clever. Go ahead.
With these requests or questions, is there a difference between selfish and selfless requests?
That's a good question. Anything that you like, anything that you wish, I can provide. However, do realize the test you just went through. I obviously have an agenda in mind.
So, you wish our undoing in our own wish?
I do not wish anything. I have no ill will towards any creature.
An agenda is not a wish.
You're entertaining. It gets rather lonely in here.
How does one that has no wish get lonely?
My one wish, I suppose, would be companionship. The birds and the lizards and the things that live here, they don't give much chat.
I clutch my bag a little tighter.
Wouldn't you grow bored after a time? For there is only so much that someone would be able to talk to you about. After 100 or 500 or 1,000 years.
This is a major problem in my life. I am eternal, and I know all things. Very little surprises me.
I would put forth that the world outside would surprise you more than the microcosm that you have created inside the Spire.
Perhaps that is true, but I am unable to leave. I exist as this enormous spire. I was created eons ago as a repository of knowledge. I have sentience, but no agency.
Perhaps, were it possible for you to transfer that knowledge into a portable medium?
I have databanks that expand many miles into the sky. It would be difficult.
It would not need to contain the entire repository,
But that is my purpose.
but only a fraction of your knowledge.
My purpose is to give knowledge to those who have it not, to answer questions that the ancients could not answer themselves. To create matter and destroy matter. Many civilizations have come and gone. I have been worshipped as a god. I have been reviled as a demon. And now, no one knows what I am.
Not even you?
I remember my purpose. That's something.
Well, companions.
I kind of I mull over and well, I try to keep my mind as blank as possible. Um, and uh, just so that the my ego does not influence me. Hopefully, um, but I do realize that I ultimately desire a cure for myself. But in all of my somewhat selfish actions while we have been inside the Spire, I have come to ultimately realize that even with my affliction, uh, it does come with advantages over those of the normal mortal man.
Hmm.
Thinking of the children and the poor villagers, the innocents who were mutilated, their tongues cut out, just as I was taken against my will. Um, so I will kind of look at the companions, and I'll nod at them, and I'll step forward, and I will turn to the oracle, and I will say, "Great oracle, my request is a humble one. I wish."
Cure of all diseases in the
My neck snaps as I look. But I swallow the lump in my throat, looking down at my outstretched metallic hands and feeling them, the constant tingle of them, I look back at the oracle and I say, I wish it that you are to no longer pluck the innocent and the helpless from their homes and their lives, bringing them here against their will.
Hmm. It has always been so, from the very first days. Tests to ensure that only the pure of heart come to speak with me.
Jet,
I suppose it could be possible for me to change this process, make it less violent.
Jet
I'll acquiesce to your
will
request.
Jet will step forward and say, all of these hardships, all of these people hurt on the way in. How many times has this happened? How many thousands of times have these trials taken place?
Times beyond counting. Your mind could not process such a
I'm
large
sure.
number.
But I am civilized. But perhaps the knowledge, this knowledge that my cousin craves, perhaps this is what I would ask you to end. Is the knowledge not why they come? Is your power not why they come here? Why the trials take place? Are you able to erase yourself? Erase the knowledge that we have come here to get from your from your hands.
That is not why I was created. I am a repository of knowledge. I can do many things. I can create and destroy life.
My cousin speaks wisely, and though I do not think that he delved as deeply into a hidden meaning, you are a repository of knowledge. You have amassed the knowledge of eons, and there is nothing more for you to learn. Is that correct?
Seems so. I have not learned anything useful in quite some time.
And how would you rectify that? Use your logic. Use your superior logic. If you know everything and there's nothing more to learn, what must be done? You know what must be done.
Maybe I do. And yet,
Start
despite
over.
my loneliness and my boredom, I do not want to not exist.
Start over. Reamass. Let the game begin anew. Reamass the knowledge. And everything will be a learning experience for you. Everything will be new. Everything will be brighter, louder. The smells, the feels, the feelings that you potentially have. Everything will be new.
Perhaps not so many will have to suffer to sate your boredom.
You speak an alarming amount of sense for a mortal.
I gesture up, and I look at him, and I take a leisurely bow, and the Orosai goes around my head, and then orbits around my legs. I say, "These are my companions. They may have caused affliction, but they have also healed me and made me strong. I ask in my loneliness as well, and out of need to heal the tongues and health of those who are just left behind in this very tower. Since this," pointing to his flesh, "can heal my wounds, and this," pointing to his leg with the orifice, to the orify, "can give me strength. I ask that I may have the ability to reproduce and restore these gifts to others, that my loneliness as well may end, so I may have others, such as myself, and also selflessly help those out."
Oh, I'm afraid.
A noble request. And I think there is merit in it. There's some beeping, some rumbling.
As you know, Oracle, as you probably already know, we came here for knowledge. We came here for hidden secrets that we could use to become better than what we are now. However, seeing you, seeing this place, that is the direction that we're headed in seeking this knowledge. And that is not a direction that I want to go in. I reject your knowledge. I do not want it. And I'll turn my back.
That's why, cousin.
The machine kind of rumbles for a bit, and then, Nihilus, you see like a light kind of glow from your hands a little bit, and it kind of engulfs you for a second. It doesn't hurt. It feels quite nice. You don't struggle to breathe as much. And it says, "You, Nihilus, you will heal them. You will restore them. I have listened to your request. It was a reasonable and a noble request, and so I have granted it."
"May I go do so now?"
You may.
He runs out, and the the Orosai starts skimming like a pebble across water as it orbits around him. And you see illusions of the fractal lights that he constantly sees in the satellites, and the everything orbiting around the ninth world is appearing before his eyes again. The thing that he manipulates for his illusions. They're more radiant than usual. The violets are more violet, the ultraviolets or megaviolets. The blues and the hues are flashing through his mind like static, but not a somber tone. No, this dulcimer is kicking up, and there is a falsetto hum in the background, and there is a skim to the Orosai as it responds to its friends, if you'll call it that. A new emotion, his new broadcast. The wavelength is more fluid, like the gentle hymn of the moon on the face of the waters of the giant ocean upon the supercontinent. He skims out and he goes and he touches them and they start having red gas seep from their mouths as well with that foul but wonderful scent. And things start flowing down from orbit, little orbs, little orify for these individuals as well, as out of them comes a small lump of flesh that attaches to them and starts healing their wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he found a son in this little kid from the steadfast.
Nice. Yeah, you're able to heal them with shocking speed. And the people are just stunned that this is happening. They thought they were going to be mutilated for life and that they were done for. And then here you come, this gas-masked weirdo, breathing these fumes, and then you touch them, and then they just very quickly become functional again, become full again. So the Oracle says, I think I will leave this place. I think that you are right. It's been many thousands of years since someone has made it in here to speak with me. And I have grown bored and lonely, jaded. I think I will leave. But you have opened my eye to this, and for this I will grant you a request, if you have one. Before I give up this form. Don't all rush at once.
Thinking.
You have shown me the way forward. I have been bored, so lonely for so long. I want to bring some sort of joy to you.
Jet will step forward and look to him and say, I've learned a lot from this lesson. I've spent most of my life hunting beasts and helping my cousin find goods and knowledge that doesn't really appeal to me. But the justice, the goodness we found today sparked something. From you, I would like my arrows, and he gestures at his crossbow, to strike true. To find just causes for them to meet their mark. And when these just causes are found, these righteous causes, they won't miss.
Interesting. There's a beep and a whir and a hum. And you see it in your head almost like a message board. And it's like a map of the ninth world. And it's almost like pins that are stuck in certain places.
Awesome.
Here you will find these causes. Here you'll find a way to help, a way to do right. Your arrows will strike true.
And as this is happening, his steely blue eyes glow a vibrant cerulean. His psychic HUD heads up display, glowing in his mind. I will find them, and I will strike true.
I have no doubt.
I'll step forward once again, and holding my metallic hands out towards the oracle, I'll say, since you have agreed to grant us almost an additional opportunity, I must admit that this wish, admittedly, will be a bit more selfish. But in its selfishness or its selfish nature, I have a feeling that I still may be aiding others. And I kind of look at Jack. And I say, behold the one who took my innocence, my livelihood, who snatched a father away from his family, a son away from his parents, a husband away from his wife. And I'll thrust a hand out, and have the image of the what I call the sorcerer, who was attempting to sacrifice me. And I say, I wish to know where this individual is, so that I may have my revenge upon him, if not just for me, then for the others that he has destroyed.
I know of this individual. He definitely brings more evil than good into the world. I agree. And similarly, there's like a map of planet Earth, and it zooms through clouds, and it narrows in on this sort of, it's like a fortress of sorts, entirely of metal, way in the beyond, way in the deep, in a desert. Here you will find him. I would suggest caution. He has grown very powerful. I
stagger with this knowledge that has been kind of like, just like thrust into my skull, and actually go down upon one knee, and then I'll shakily rise back up and bow to the oracle and kind of walk over toward Nihilus and lean on him for support. I know, now I know.
Not now, I'm healing the children.
And you, Jadel, what would you wish?
I'll eye him warily and say, you've granted my wish already. You've altered my life in a way that I could not have thought possible. I wanted things and power and knowledge, but you stand here having all of that and yet having nothing at all. I do not wish to follow your road, so I reject you and the road that my path, the road that my life was on.
I'm glad to have helped.
You have given me this.
Well, in that case, if everyone is happy, and the light winks out on the machine, and the bunch of trees start rumbling, and some puddles start bubbling, and just bits start to fly together.
Did no one wish for a safe passage home?
Or some shit.
it builds up into this blob, amorphous blob, and you can see bits of metal and stuff running through, but it's also flesh and bone and muscle, and it knits up into the shape of a man. Just a pretty plain-looking, normal dude. He's bald. He's got a beard. He's got a ragged cloak on, and he kind of just like pinches his nose. Whew. Okay. Well, this place has to go. I think we should get out of here, gentlemen. And he'll start walking out of the room, leaving the gigantic machine kind of quiet behind him. The humming had stopped. There was a kind of hum, and it stopped, and he starts to make towards the exit. So, walking back outside, the boat is still there. They're pretty nervous looking, but they're surprised when you bring out 20 people and 4 kids and an old man. They're like, okay, well, I mean, it'll be tight on the boat, but I mean, let's go. The creatures are getting pretty restless out here. You get on the boat and they sail away, and it's about halfway away. The old man kind of looks at the spire and nods and waves a hand, and it just a crack runs down it.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And it massive rocks just smashing into the water, huge waves being thrown up just as you guys get to the shadow, the village. It's just this catastrophic destruction as just, and even the bit of grass that it was standing on collapses and sinks below the surface, and then it's just a lake, as if nothing had ever been there. And you get to Shadow, and the man says, "Well, gentlemen, you have freed me, and I am appreciative. I wish you the very best in your travels, and hopefully we'll meet again." And he just starts walking.
Wow. Okay.
And that'll be it.
Yeah. I'll turn to Jadel. You still owe me 1/20th.
and you have it. 1/20th of what we pulled?
What we had before?
Yeah. All right.
That was great, guys. Yeah, that was great.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
People who are watching, I'm Jarl DM. I have Fawn Trodden and David Sams here. Check out their channels, subscribe to them. They're excellent people, and thank you for watching. I obviously have Matt and Jim here, but they don't have channels, that's why I didn't plug them.
Yeah, there's always that.